Hi, I'm Catherine. This is my making adventure where I like to share all of my crafty endeavors. Today is a special video. I'm just going to share my Make 9 from last year and how well I did, and then my plans for this coming year and what I put on my Make 9. And yeah, thank you for joining me. I'm excited to share this with you. So last year, I joined the Make 9 Make Along hosted by Amy from Noble Character Crafts, and I even won a prize from it. And I'm so excited because the yarn I got from participating in that Make 9 is now going to be used and shows up on this year's Make 9. So first of all, let's focus on what was I planning to knit last year and which of those goals did I accomplish. So hopefully I'll put some things up here for you to look up at while I chat with you today. One of the biggest goals for last year was to knit my daughter a Carla's dress, which is a pattern by Petite Knit. And I used a fingering weight yarn. That's a fingering weight pattern. And it's just a lot of knitting because you knit like the normal shirt, like a sweater, or I did it short sleeve, so like a t-shirt, and then you add on the skirt, and the skirt has a lot more stitches than the shirt part or the bodice part of the dress. So I was able to accomplish that, and I'm really excited. Sadly, it ended up being a little bit bigger than what she needs right now, but I know that she'll grow into it, and she does still love wearing it now. Another project that I completed for my Make 9 board last year was a muscle burra hat. So I had previously knit one for my husband, and my sister wanted one for herself. So I was able to do that early on in the year, finish a muscle burra for her. We used our own hand-dyed yarn, so that was really fun. And I did knit it in fingering weight held double. So it's nice and warm. And so she has that hat now. Another project that I had on my Make 9 was, I think, the Latte cardigan or the Mulsa cardigan by Kirsten Joel. And I did not make that cardigan, but I did make this cardigan. This is the Felix cardigan. And the reason that I swapped out those patterns for this one is that the yarn that I had already worked better for this pattern and then for either of those other designs. So hopefully in the future I will be able to make one of those cardigans because I think they look so like crisp. But I just didn't have the right yarn for it at the time. I'm still counting that as a win though, because I did come out at the end of the year with cardigan to wear, and I have another Felix cardigan on the needles. So I know that I will soon have 2 cardigans so I can take turns. Sorry, my little one is on the floor over there, and my computer's right here with my notes for the video. So if I'm looking over there, I'm just checking on her. She's on her tummy. She's been starting to roll over, which is so fun. Just occasionally, but it's still a lot of fun. I'm not ready for her to be moving all over yet, but even when she's laying on her back, she kind of spins in a circle and things like that. So I know she's going to be an active one soon. All right, number 4 for my Make 9 2024 was a pair of socks with some yarn that my husband gave me for Christmas. So he dyed up a special yarn for me for Christmas, and I knit Hermione's Everyday Socks with those earlier in this year. I think I finished them this fall, and I've been enjoying them. So that was really fun, and I'm starting to get more comfortable with sock knitting. I prefer, like, I really enjoy knitting sweaters. I prefer to wear the sweaters and to knit the sweaters, but it is nice to be able to do socks too. Now the next 3 things on the board did not get made, so I'll run through those quickly. The first was by Helen Stewart, which I think it was the Habitation Throw, a blanket. I just came to realize in attempting a shawl that that sort of blanket would not be ideal for me. It's corner to corner. And so like you're getting longer and longer and longer and longer rows. And I do that with my dishcloths, but I'm like maxed out by the middle of the dishcloth. Probably not going to work very well for a blanket. So I think that as I look forward to 2025, I still would like to make a blanket, but I've chosen a different pattern. I also had wanted to knit a tank top and a t-shirt this year, and those didn't happen, mostly because it no longer was a priority for me because I spent the summer pregnant. So I knew that if I knit a tank top or a t-shirt, it wasn't really going to work for me this summer, and there was no point in working on it if I wasn't going to be able to wear it. I also spent a good portion of the spring, like, you know, you would knit the tank top and t-shirt in the spring so you could wear them in the summer. I spent a good portion of those feeling very nauseous and not knitting at all. So those projects did not get done. Excuse me. I also had wanted to sew myself a hinterland dress. I've made one, and I purchased fabric for a second one. So I'm kind of counting that as in progress, but the fabric hasn't even been cut out. I've been kind of thinking through finding a time to do it ever since my baby's been born. But I mean, it's hard. With 3 little ones, we're pretty busy. So hopefully this spring I will get around to that, because I'm really looking forward to trying that again and having a more cohesive dress and maybe even making it better than my first. I'm also toying with the idea. I did put buttons on the first one, and I'm toying with the idea of using snaps this time around. I want it to open in the front because I'm nursing a baby, and so that's really handy. But the buttonholes were really hard on my sewing machine. The last thing that made my Make 9 2024 was matching sweaters for my daughters, and I knit my 2 older daughters' sibling sweaters, and I knit those in the fall, and that's what I had planned, and I was able to accomplish it, and I'm so proud of how that turned out. They fit, both of them. The fit is better for my middle daughter than my oldest, but part of that is because she grew a whole inch while I was knitting the sweater. So, and I didn't even take that long to knit it. It's just kind of unfair when they grow that fast. It does still fit her, and she loves wearing it. And then after the baby was born, I was able to knit her something that was somewhat matching. The sibling sweater isn't like newborn baby friendly pattern. So I knit her a Micah's raglan sweater with the same yarn so that she does match as well. So yeah, that's a summary of my Make 9 2024 and how I did. And next we get to look at my Make 9 2025. Quick baby check. And now I'm back to talk about my Make 9 for this coming year, 2025. I'm so excited because I have a lot of things I want to knit for myself. And right now it's cold, and it's we're expecting some snow and some cold weather. And I just really want to knit myself sweaters. And I'm so excited about that. So for this year, the first sweater I plan to cast on for myself is the striped pipe sweater. I had so much fun watching everybody come up with just like creative color combinations and knit up striped pipes last year. And I was sad because it didn't make sense for me, but this year it does. I already have some yarn that I was going to use for a toasted tee. Sorry, I shouldn't talk while I'm looking. I already have 4 skeins of yarn that I was going to use for toasted tee, but that I don't really think is a good combination. And it is Cascade 220 non-superwash, but I have 4 skeins. So it's not enough for a sweater on its own, but it is enough as a main color for the striped pipe sweater. So I have been selecting colors for my contrast. I don't have any other of this kind of yarn, so I'm going to order 3 skeins and have only 3 contrasting colors, and that should give me the yardage to finish a striped pipe sweater. and have it fit me the way I want. So I'm excited. I have been scouring Ravelry for other people in my size who have knit with the same yarn, or people in my size who have knit with just 3 contrast colors just to see. And I think that I'm going to be able to pull it off. So I'm really excited about that. The second thing that I put on my Make 9 this year was to finish stockings. So if you watched my most recent podcast, I did knit a stocking. She's trying to roll into her tummy. I did knit a stocking for my oldest child. I have 5 kids, and I'd like them each to have a hand knit stocking for next Christmas. So I think I'm just gonna work on them throughout the year. I have one done, and I've cast on the second, and the one that's finished has a million ends to weave in. So it's not really done. And so I hope to be able to continue to work on those throughout the year and get some good progress done on that. I do need to like chart their names, and I could do that for each of my kids now and then be ready when I'm ready to cast on their stockings. Otherwise, I think I'm going to keep them mostly the same, mainly for simplicity. I spent several hours charting, choosing which color work charts and which colors I wanted for each motif, and I want them all to be the same size, so it's complicated to try to switch that up. The third thing on my Make 9 2025 is the Traveler by Andrea Mowry. I think that I want the crew neck version, and I'm going to need to significantly increase the length. I don't like cropped sweaters. I'm a tall person. I feel like if I knit it to the size, like her typical recommendation for a sweater, it would be like an inch or 2 above my belly button, and I'm not interested in that. I want it to be like 4 inches longer than my belly button. So I do still plan to try to do that. I just have to remember to get yarn with a lot more yardage than the pattern requires. Yeah, but I love that sweater and the texture in that. I might not enjoy making it as much because I think there's a lot of purling, but we'll see. I also plan to make another pair of vanilla socks. I have the Felici yarn that I ordered from Knit Picks, and so I've cast on the Lisa colorway. I'm going to cast on Frankie later in the year. I also want to knit socks for my daughters, so I plan to do all of that soon, or to keep working on all of that throughout the year. It might be sort of like one stocking, one pair of socks, one stocking, one pair of socks throughout the year. That would keep me busy and hopefully content. I have really been enjoying making the Lisa socks, and so I'm happy to have more yarn to keep working through socks with. The next thing that I'm hoping to knit is a sweater for my husband, and at this point in the year I am planning on making him a zipper sweater. I just finished one in December. I probably won't cast his on until like August so that he can have it for next fall. But I already have the pattern, so that one went to someone else. So I hope to be able to make one for my husband as well. And hopefully I'll talk him into dyeing his own yarn for it. So that will be lots of fun. I'm actually also hoping that he'll dye me some yarn for my Traveler and one other sweater that I have on the board. But first, I received this yarn as my prize for participating in the Make 9 last year, and I am hoping to use it this year to make 1 or maybe 2 hot water bottle covers. I found a pattern, I cannot pronounce it because it's not an English word, but it's by Christina Burke Sorensen, and it's a free hot water bottle cover pattern, and it uses sport weight yarn. So this is sport weight, and it has a little color work pattern on it, and I thought how perfect, because I don't have a whole bunch of any one color, but I have some colors that look good together. So I plan to do that. That might be when I finish the current sweater that I'm working on for my middle daughter. I might cast this on next, but I also might wait. I don't know, we'll see. hopefully soon I'll have all new whips, because I have been making a lot of progress on my current 3. So the other sweater I have on the board for myself is the Storm sweater by Petite Knit, and I have been eyeing that sweater for years, like since it came out. And so I would really, really love if my husband would dye me some yarn. She's totally turned around. Her head is in a different direction than when I laid her down. I would really love if he would dye me up some yarn to use for that one specifically. I would love it if he would do for Traveler too, but for the Storm sweater with all the texture, I think hand-dyed yarn would look beautiful, and it would kind of like cover any inconsistencies in the yarn. If the yarn's not perfect, the Storm sweater will still look beautiful because of all the texture of it. Traveler has a lot of texture too, but I think it would have to alternate skeins, which can just be annoying. Oh, you're almost there, sweetie. Yay! She's on her tummy, but she doesn't have her other arm free. Oh, how fun. What a big girl. Neither of my other 2 daughters rolled this early, so I am like shocked. She started rolling over Christmas while we were out of town, and I was like, excuse me? Is this an accident? And no, it wasn't, because she rolled again the next day. So, and that was tummy to back. Now she's rolling, trying really, really hard to roll onto her tummy. I think I'm gonna pause and go help her. Get her arm out. Oh, that was so exciting. Okay. Now, 2 more projects for my Make 9 for this coming year, and one of those is the Jelly Roll Blanket, and that's a pattern by KF Jones. I just felt like I'd been thinking sweet shop blanket and something where you're just doing little bit by little bit, rather than like the one I picked for this year, or for last year, which is just like all the stitches on the needles at a time. I think the Jelly Roll Blanket fits my current yarn situation. If I had a lot of scraps on hand at once, a sweet shop blanket is definitely what I would choose, because I think it's beautiful. But the Jelly Roll Blanket, I can start with the scraps that I have. I don't feel like I have to organize it a certain way. And so I'm going to use my DK / light worsted superwash scraps. And I can use fingering scraps as well if I hold those double to make a Jelly Roll Blanket this year. And I hope, I don't know when I'll cast that on, just because I have so much else going on, which is a sign that it's not a priority, but I hope to be able to do it anyway. And so even just get started. I have all that Cascade 220, and I have some other stuff that will work for now. And I think that would be, I have some like the Swish DK. So I think that would be a lot of fun. And it's little by little, you do a strip at a time, and that would be fun and teach me some new strategies for, like, you know, picking up and knitting along in a modular style of blanket, I think is what it's called. Okay. The last pattern that I want to make, and you grumps, okay, just you grumps now. Can you come sit with me? Come sit with me. It was a big deal, wasn't it? Was that a big deal? Okay. Guest appearance by the baby. Are you such a big girl? Are you such a big girl? Yeah. The last pattern that I have on my Make 9 for this year is the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made Designs. I do have some ideas for what I will make that out of, but I have to figure out how to get the yardage quite right. I think it will probably not be just one yarn. I will do a mixture of maybe some mini skeins and a main color to make some stripes. Uh-oh, you lost a sock. You don't want to sit there, do you? And it's not nap time yet. and I will definitely knit it longer than pattern. I want a full length tank top, but I really feel inspired by all of the versions of it that Stephanie from Edible Thoughts has made, and I want to try my hand at it as well. It's a style I really like. So those are my Make 9 2025 plans. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to share? I am Stephanie from Texas Peach Knits posted like 25 and 2025 as kind of an idea for doing your knitting planning. And so I did think through that, and I'm probably share that goal on Instagram. So I might run through it just really quick here. I'm hoping to make 5 stockings. You know that, I shared that already. I'm also hoping to make 5 sweaters for myself. I think I have 4 on my Make 9, and I have 1 on the needles now. So that's all that would need to get finished to make 5 sweaters for me. And then I want to make 5 matching sweaters, me and my husband and our 3 daughters, so that we can match around the holidays next year. That's what I've done in the past, except I've never included myself, just my girls. So I'd like to include myself this year. I hope to make 5 dishcloths. I've been knitting dishcloths. I've taken a break now that I'm back up to doing garments and all of the Christmas hubbub. But I'd like to make at least 5 dishcloths in this coming year. And I'd like to try 5 new things. And so some of the things I've been thinking of is I'd really like to try like a new stitch for knitting, like maybe brioche or half fisherman's rib or something like that that I haven't done before. I'd like to try with my sewing to try like a little quilted project bag. I think that would be a lot of fun. And I don't know what else I have in mind there, but I'm kind of just thinking and deciding what new projects, new things that will be for me. Maybe I will do something new with yarn dyeing because my husband has taken the lead on that so far, and maybe I'll be able to step up and do some more of that. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm sure I had other ideas written down already. I just don't remember them. So lots of new things, lots of fun things, and I'm sure plenty of new things for me as well. Are you spitting up on me? Maybe you need cleaned up. So thanks for joining me as I share my knitting plans with you. And the next video I post will be a podcast update with all of my projects. And I have a fun little finished object already. And I hope, but I'm not sure. I probably won't have a big finished object, but I'll have some things that are getting a lot closer than last time I filmed. And I do have a new cast on, and it's already through the yoke because it's for a kid. So yeah, that will be fun to share with you in the next video. Thanks for joining me. I hope that you had a wonderful holiday season and that you're ready for January. I know January is really hard for some people, but I love just the clean slate that a new year brings and all of the planning and organizing. And I am like setting up my new notebook for the year to keep myself organized in life. And yeah, I'm just finding a lot of joy in this January season. So I hope you can too. God bless. Bye.